some time ago, a person said to me, "Hey Tommy, this Howard Stern's a fucking candy ass whore." And I thought, gee, I always feel bad whenever anyone calls anyone a whore. Do I know this person? Oh yeah, I saw him on E. And it was a long time ago, and at that time the United States was buried in this deep leaden blanket of sexual repression. And here's this long-haired guy on television acting like a sex pervert. Yeah, can you tell me? And I thought it was fucking great. It's always good shtick. I know people like that in life, so he was like doing a caricature of these people. But eventually what happened was Howard got into trouble. As is always the case in the United States of America, when you become popular, you are eventually confronted by the Gestapo, who says, "You get down on your hands and knees now and submit to me." And if you have talent and you submit, you become a millionaire. If you don't have talent, well, if you don't have talent, they're not going to do that to you anyway. They'll maybe send a police officer once in a while, kick your ass. Tommy, is he behaving himself? What do you know? Tommy's a good boy, and that's that. But the issue of public broadcasting and censorship is the material component, the element, the essential element is whether this is a private act or whether this is a public act. Did the FCC cause this to happen, or is it just something that was done privately? In the case with Howard, he was working for Clear Channels, I believe. So I don't know who owns that or owned it then. I know Pat Robertson used to own it. So any of these guys, Rupert Murdoch, Lawrence Keating, they're people that the Democratic Republican single party monolith essentially have, just in case they have to confront a judge and say, "Oh, Your Honor, there's absolutely no symbiotic relationship whatsoever between us, members of the government of the United States, and these here individuals. These are the private acts on the private will and volition of private individuals." I understand completely. Case dismissed. And now for you, how dare you come into our court and see to make this illegal? And I'm going to tell you subliminally, baby, you're going to be punished for every last minute of your life. And that's that. But if you're still out there, Howard, or you're out there at all, or whoever you are, this is what happens to an average person like myself that becomes an educational broadcaster. I was forcefully removed from a live radio broadcast at WHRW-FM at the State University of Binghamton at New York by two State University security officers, employees of the university, under the order and command of the station general manager, who was also a State University employee. And unless these people had cause to do this to me, they are subject to suit under 42 U.S.C. 1983. However, the Northern District Judge, Lord Thomas McAvoy, decided that he doesn't like that precedent. But anyway, more on that later. The reason I was removed, or the pretense for my removal, which the security officers were never informed of, they just, "Jawohl," was that I allegedly broadcast material at 4 a.m. that contained the words, "You're not worth shitting on." And this is what all of this is all about. Now, one of the funny things about this, too, is that initially the matter was reported by Fox News. I'll put on a comment on my site here. I'll give you the link and you could check out the video that's on my blog. Because Elijah Weberhan was the news director at the radio station. So the State University at New York at Binghamton is, as Blackstone says, universities are like small municipalities. And this is kind of a ghost town up here. It's a dead, boring place, but it's cheap to live at. And my grandfather built the house that I live in 1924, so you know, I'm more or less planted here. It's comfortable. It's just boring. But anyway, these people at the radio station and these people at the State University, along with local officials and the judges, state judges, federal judges, even the New York State Attorney General, all have this understanding that the State University of New York is an essential component of the local economy. So, you know, when it comes to free speech or anything like that versus the economy, it's, you know, all of these people have jobs, we need jobs. So I did sue the State University, and I sued the radio station, and the case was dismissed. Now you could say, well, Dino, you did this technically wrong, or you did this technically wrong, or you're stupid, and you shouldn't have been a pro se litigant. You should have hired an attorney and translated. You should have remortgaged your home and leased an attorney for life, and so on and so forth. But the fact of the matter is this. Had Lord McAvoy simply said, we're not going to go for this. Whatever errors occurred in Dino's complaint are harmless errors. This is clearly the policy of the radio station, which, under express regulation of New York State, is the responsibility of the university president. This policy clearly violates the U.S. Constitution in two ways. The first way is that it abridges speech within the safe harbor zone, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Stevens, in his Pacifica case, decided, well, these filthy perverts have to be driven from the airwaves, but we'll allow them to remain in their vampiric hours, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. And the State University decided, no, we don't want to do that at all. And Andrew Cuomo, the university attorney, then New York State Attorney General, agreed. He decided, you know, he was running for governor, and it was more important that he convince, you know, on the fence conservatives to vote for him rather than Palladino. You see, I don't want some college student broadcasting the word shit at 4 a.m. I'm a conservative, you know, that whole bit. So nothing ever happened. The case was dismissed. The Second Circuit said, oh, there's absolutely no basis in law or fact to even hear this appeal. The U.S. Supreme Court, as is commonly the case, denied cert. And that's that. But the real killer in all of this is that it was never reported in any media outlet at all. The local press refused to report it, refused to respond to my telephone calls. The major newspapers wouldn't report it. Fox News wouldn't pay attention to me anymore. The person that originally covered the thing is long gone. Nobody knows what happened to her or anything else. You know, and the other thing of it is what would the Second Circuit have done if McAvoy said, we're going to side with the First Amendment? You know, I don't like Dino, he's a fucking schmuck. I'm a Father Coughlin Mick, and I don't like Jews to begin with, or whatever, you know. I mean, if he went that far, probably Biden or somebody might say something. But if he sided with the First Amendment, can you picture Andrew Cuomo going to the Second Circuit and saying, you know, you have to decide against the First Amendment because there's more important things at stake, like people that run a state university in upstate New York that can't handle the word shit being broadcast at 4 a.m. Well, this is the crux of the whole situation. He might have done that. He might have sent some, you know, low echelon person, some ambitious person. I'm going to change everything. All I have to do is knuckle under and submit, and I'll have power to change. You know, sent them down there and did that, and nobody would have reported it, so no one would ever know. Because the Second Circuit has a separate pro se panel, you know, and it's like pro se tournament. So, you know, as long as nobody knows, then they do whatever the fuck they want. You see programs on television and things that make, oh God, justice, you know, some guy's in front of the Supreme Court and he's talking about the death penalty and all of this shit, and you think, yeah, that's the way it is. I'm safe and secure in my home. Just give me some more police officers, everything will be cool. It's bullshit, it doesn't happen. And 95% of the, I'm just saying this, I don't know what the exact figure is, but after 14 years of my life in state and federal court, I would say seriously that 95% of the First Amendment cases only succeed because one side or the other submits. And then when one side or the other submits, oh, it's the First Amendment, how wonderful, you know. But if one side, particularly the government, is opposed to the First Amendment, particularly with all of the judges, the majority of judges now in the federal judiciary and the state judiciaries being right-wing radical supremacists, white supremacists or whatever, extremists, I meant to say, you know, they're going to go along with opposition to the First Amendment. Like this recent case they did with this guy that's going around saying that the reason that people are being murdered in Afghanistan is because homosexuality is allowed in the United States. You know, the Supreme Court was like, they were, you know, hey, this guy's got to be protected. This group of people got to be protected. But if you read that decision, you'll notice in there that they make a very big point. This Roberts guy, who was the clerk to Rehnquist, makes this very big point about, well, they didn't say fuck, they didn't use profanity or anything like that. They make a big issue about that. Because that's the thing that they're using, aside from children, we have to protect the children, that they're using to destroy the First Amendment, to destroy the idea of what I express and report in these other video blogs that I did. You could check them out if you want. But essentially that's all I have to say for the time being. The First Amendment, free speech, all that is dead. The only people that are protected are right-wing assholes. The whole entire court system has been politicized. There's no justice in America. It's why everybody has handguns and why everybody's killing each other. It's really fucked up. And I'm sick of it. And that's why I stay home. Hopefully, the situation now is that these people will leave me the fuck alone if I stay at home. And as long as that's the case, then I guess I'm cool with that. So, unless you have some comments or anything like that, that's all I gotta say. See ya.